Hi, Florette here, and today we're going to create this really cool box card from Inkon3. And you can see it's this ocean box card, and it folds flat, fits in a standard A2 envelope, and when someone opens it up, it becomes very dimensional and they can set it on their desk, and you can have a message on the back. It's super cool and super easy to create, and you get all the pieces you can see inside here. The only thing we added was like a little stamp and then a couple stamps on the front, but everything else is included in your SVG kit that you can use on your digital die cutting machine. You also get PDF instructions that will take you step by step on how to build it as well, and you can look at that on your computer or print it off in black and white as I have here, or in color. You'll also see I have another image here, and it's showing a mermaid. Well, what we did there was just to show you how creative you could get, and this one I created with the mermaid stamp set. It's called Mariner Mermaid, just to show you, you can do some different things with this box card using the base and all the pieces like this, or get creative like this one we did here. But it's really fun. I think anybody would enjoy getting this. So let's have some fun and create this box card. As you can see, I've cut out all my pieces and laid them out. And now these I've colored with watercolor markers. So I cut my pieces out of watercolor paper and then colored them with some watercolor markers. Now you can do that, or if you prefer, you can, cut them out of solid cardstock or pattern paper, anything like that. But I really like the look that it gives with using the markers. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I already went ahead and colored all of these pieces, and I thought I'd leave this one here and show you how easy it was to do. So I just took a watercolor marker. There's all different kinds. This one happens to be a Tombow, and you simply take it, and remember this is watercolor paper, and I'm just going to add some color right here. And like I said, of course, if you don't want to color it and you just want to use solid color cardstock or patterned paper, you can go ahead and do that. But all I did was put some lines in there. Then I'm going to grab a paintbrush with some water and just lightly move around the color. I really like this effect, especially for the water, because I thought it gave it that real watery ocean look. I just think that is so cool. Once you're finished coloring it and using your paintbrush, you're just going to set that aside and let it dry. Now the other thing I did with this that is a little bit different is on this one you could see it has, I don't know if you can see in the there we go, this really pretty gold shimmer on the back of this shell. So what I did is I printed one of our digital paper patterns, which is Mariner Mermaid, and I printed the paper on a laser printer, and then I cut my piece out. And now what I'm going to do is foil it to get that gold, and then I'm going to just ink over it a little bit. Of course you can use pattern paper that's already colored, or you can print digital paper on colored paper. That's what I did here. Here I used just a solid colored paper, printed the Mermaid Wishes paper pattern on here, and then foiled it. But we're going to actually color this as well. So here I've got my foiling machine heating up. You can also use a laminator. And of course you can totally skip this step if you don't want to foil it and you just want to use pattern paper. But I really thought this kind of brought it to life a little bit. So I'm just going to take the piece that I cut with my pattern paper and that has the laser printing. I'm going to take a piece of foil and add that to it and send it through the foiling machine. And I'm just sending it through with a piece of copy paper. Okay, once we've done that, once we've sent it through, it should be all foiled, and this is where the magic happened, and I just love foiling. And you can see when I peel this off, it's going to have all this shimmering gold wherever the black ink was. Isn't that fun? And now we're just going to add a little ink to the top to give it a nice tan color. And of course, like I said, you can always skip this step and just use colored pattern paper. So to color this beautiful piece of foil paper, I want to give it like a tan color. I'm using some Tim Holtz Distress Tea Dye to give it just like a light tan color. I'm just going to take my dauber, ink it up, and then just move it over the paper, and you can see it's coloring it up really, really beautifully. Now look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I think it gives it a really neat look when you use the inking. Okay, we're going to move on to our next step. So next I'm going to show you how I got this really cool variegated color on the dolphins. Now again, you could cut this out of pattern paper and skip this step entirely, but I think it gives it a really beautiful shadowed look. You could also use a light gray paper and just ink your edges. But for this one, I actually just cut this out of paper. I'm going to grab some, it's like a dark bluish grayish color. It's called Locomotive. This one happens to be from Brutus Monroe. And I'm just going to basically do what we did before with the shell, and I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to go around the edges and on the underside and darken it, get it a little darker on the underside and around the top areas like this. And it's just going to make it really pop. Like I said, you could just use, solid colored paper if you want and ink the edges, but I have fun. I really enjoy inking things up. I think it's really fun and it gives it a really pretty soft look to it. And you're just gonna keep blending it until you feel you've got the color you're looking for, and leaving maybe a little lighter in the center and then going around your edges like so. Once I have all the ink on here, I just added, for a little extra touch, I grabbed a wink of Stella. Any kind of glitter pen will work. And I added some glitter, and you can see how much it just livens it up and brings this little dolphin, these two little dolphins, to life. So I'm just going to put glitter all over these two, like so. Isn't that gorgeous? Now once that dries, we're just going to simply glue this overlay onto our base piece. I'm just going to put a little glue. And center it right here. And it's really going to pop with that offset. Isn't that cute? And now we're ready to just assemble everything. So I've gone ahead and put on all my overlays. So you can see here I added the shell and the overlay and glued it right to the back. I've also laid these out in order for you so we can go through and I can show you how easy it is to get put together. So you're going to take your first piece, which is this piece of coral. You're going to fold your tabs back and you're just going to add a little glue to one of the tabs. And this is the one you have to watch the most. I sometimes will turn it this way and line it up to the back edge where my score line is. I'm just going to line those two up and then glue it down. Oops, hold it a little longer than I did. And then you can fold it down, make sure you got it all lined up. And here I like to then take it and fold it over and press it down so that it opens and closes easily. So you see that? I just glued down the tab right on here, just like that. Okay, and then you've got the first one down. Then you're going to put a little glue on this side. And you're going to glue it down right to the other side, like so. You're going to fold this over. And you're going to glue this tab in place and line it up on the bottom and hold it down for a second while the glue dries. And move my fingers out of the way. And then if I fold it this way, I'm going to push it down so that everything opens and closes easily. And then I'll hold this up so you can see that, because the first one is probably the hardest one, but it's actually pretty easy. You're just folding them back to the edge, back edge, and you can see they're glued in, touching this back edge here. Now I did it this way so it makes it a little bit easier building it up. So now I'm going to take the next one. I'm going to put a little glue on here. And now I can just line it up with this last one, the bottom edge here, like so. Fold it down, make sure it's straight, and hold it down for a second. And we're just going to keep stacking them. And I'm going to fold it over so that it folds so I know it's closing. I'm going to add the glue to this side, right here. And I'm going to fold it over. And you can see I'm just lining it up with the last one. You see how they're lining up? I'm just butting one against the other. And then I like to go back and forth and fold it like this while it's drying. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. So see, I've got an edge here. I know that I'm going to put the glue here, and I'm going to show you here. I'm just basically kissing it up to that edge and gluing it down right here, so you always know where to glue it. Okay, I'm going to add the glue to my tab. I'm going to butt it up against the last one I did, like so. Hold it down for a second, like that. And then I can fold it over and make sure I'm getting it so it opens and closes easily. I'm going to do the same thing to this side. I'm going to fold it over, and now this one is just going to bend it down and see how it's, let me try to hold that up, see how it's going right here, and it's going to fold flat right in there, and it's kind of just shaping itself at this point. It's just going, and then I'm going to go back and forth to make sure that it's going to open and close for me nicely. And now the last one, you're just going to fold these two tabs down. You're going to put glue on each one. And this is your front panel. You can see I already put the overlays on, and I put my wave overlays on the sides. And I am just going to glue this in place, like so, doing the first one, holding it until it sets. And do the same to the other side. Just kind of hold the tabs together, like so. And then again, I can fold it now while it's still a little wet to make sure everything is working. I like to fold it back and forth so I know I've got all my corners lined up. Look at that, nice and easy. Then you've basically got your box card done. Once you've got all that assembled, then we're going to simply take our dolphin, add a little glue to its tail, like so, bottom of the tail, and we're just going to line it up where center it in our box, like so, and glue it down and hold it till it's dry. And of course you could use any kind of decoration on the inside. This is the dolphins that come with the kit, and I think they're really cute. Or like you can do like the different stamp like we used with the mermaid in here. It looked really cute. So once I have that done, I'm gonna stamp my image, and I'm gonna use a stamp from this stamp set by Inkon3, and this one is Roses in Bloom. I'm just gonna grab the thank you stamp, put it on a block, a stamping block, grab some ink, ink it up, and pop it on the center like that. Then I'm going to glue it down to the overlay piece. Now you can skip this step if you want and just put a different type of sentiment on there. I love stamping though. I think it's really fun and easy. And then if you're like me, I always gum up the back of my cards, so I always like to include another piece that you can overlay on here. But I'm also going to stamp this one using this pansy stamp set. And there's a really nice sentiment in this stamp set called, and it says, you can see it here, wishing you the most beautiful day. I'm just going to pop that on a stamping block like so. Ink it up. So I'm going to use the smoother side of my paper since that's watercolor paper. And I would stamp it now. You could always stamp it once it's all put together, but it's always a little easier to stamp it before you assemble. Then once you have those things all stamped out, you can simply take your front panel and you're just going to glue it right to the center here. I just want to see where I'm going to place it. Put a little glue on that. And then I'm going to use my table to get it nice and straight. And glue that on there. And then I can take this back panel here and glue it on the back. So that it's nice and clean. Now I'm just going to take it and glue it right to the back panel, like so. So it's beautiful and clean, and it looks like you're a really neat crafter. Now isn't that beautiful? Look how fun and easy that was. And you could add some little embellishments if you want, and that's what I did here. I added just a couple more sequins and a couple more stamps to give it a little more pizzazz, and then I added some glitter. So I hope you enjoyed that. And again, you could also use a mermaid stamp like we did in here, or anything else you want to put in the center to create a different look. So I hope you enjoyed creating this box card. I think it's really fun, easy to create, and I hope you'll have fun with it and have a great day. Thanks for joining me today. Now get your ink on.